we're all just wasting time waiting for Mad Dog Russo to appear. I'm hoping he's on today. He's only missed one Wednesday. First Takes ratings are going through the roof because who knew we needed Havlicek talk?
Hondo.
Stephen A. Smith is trying to evolve his career. Our aging action stars throughout Hollywood, Stugotz, have to keep evolving so they can be Liam Neeson, so they can be Jason Statham, The Rock in their 50s. All our action people are over 50.
But Russo, that second week was a planned vacation before he knew he was doing First Take. He will never miss a Wednesday again.
Before he became a star again, because Francesa, man, bums me out that those two broke up because Francesa is now getting into the podcast game. It's a little late to the podcast game. Billy, will you be tuning in? Because Mike Francesa, I actually went just to smile at myself and
you had to listen, huh?
I had to listen because just the haunting reminder of the dangers of ego. I had to tune in for a minute, and all he did for that minute was talk about how he hasn't done much stuff giving his sports opinions in the last couple of years anywhere. Just, a minute here or there at a horse track. But now on the Francesa podcast, he's back in the game. Because you know why? Because Mad Dog's back in the game.
That's right.
Mad Dog's on ESPN, and Francesa's like, somebody get me a platform.
It's not going to work for him. Podcast is not his format because he needs callers to interact with, and he needs callers messing with him and him not knowing that they're messing with him, and he needs to get angry at people and yell at people. And if he's doing a podcast, all of that's going to get cleaned up and taken out. So it's not going to work out for him. Didn't he have an app? Did that app stopped working already?
Mic'd up, I think.
Mic's on.
Oh, yeah. Mic's on. Yeah, fine. For me.
You're finding yourself. I mean, it is something that you should know, and I do believe he just found himself and surprised himself.
Do you find people at home?
Find himself?
Like,
no,
I have no money.
Do you go to the Starbucks counter and find people? That's another $2.
I am not joking when I tell you, Whittingham, that I am pretty sure at this point he's so lazily playing the hits, and that's one of his favorites right now.
Yeah.
That he just accidentally fined himself because he made a mistake without realizing he was fining himself, because it's all he's been doing. Basically, it's how he's grieved his mother's death.
Yes.
Is to just tell everyone else when they're wrong immediately and ask them for money for it.
That and nicknames. That's how I'm getting over it. And unfortunately, I find myself on a day where I have no money.
You have nothing. You don't have any cash.
No.
You don't have any cash on you. You didn't even reach into your pocket.
I know.
You didn't even look.
Listen, I know what cash in the pocket feels like.
You paid for breakfast this morning with cash.
That's where all my cash went.
Did you ever find that money that you lost?
No. No. A lot of money.
We didn't get Tony the detective on that.
No.
I feel like that's a cold case that he's got to solve.
It's a lot of money, man.
Is Tony the detective like Tony the Cuban fighter pilot that forgets he's a Cuban airline pilot?
Dímelo, mi gente!
It's a very
the same character.
It's a very limited impersonation.
Book him, Dano.
Stugotz, for some reason, I don't know why this is so, but Stugotz is pissed off because we haven't talked Baker Mayfield for 2 days. The quarterback carousel moved all around, and Baker Mayfield is hurt and has been left behind as the Browns, give more guaranteed money than any human being has ever gotten in football for an alleged sexual misconduct-soaked quarterback.
He should be heard, and he should feel heard. He's the quarterback in Cleveland who is getting criticized right now because playing through injury, he wasn't good enough to get the Browns to the playoffs, although when he was healthy, he did so 2 years ago and got them to a game with the Chiefs and was great. He was top 10 2 years ago in QBR, but he's been run out of that town. He's been made a laughingstock in that town for a guy who has all the off-the-field issues. Baker has none of them. He has none of that.
Well, he's got the one running away from police when he was in college, but
Dan, he did all the right things, Baker Mayfield. He did. He got better as time went on. He had a good season 2 years ago. He was injured last year. He played through the injury, and people are criticizing Baker in Cleveland, saying he's not a good quarterback, he's not a starting quarterback, and Deshaun Watson's getting all the praise in Cleveland, and he's got a million off-the-field problems going on right now, and if I'm Baker Mayfield, I feel betrayed, and I feel upset, and I feel pissed off. He has every right to.
That is very human of you to side with Baker Mayfield. But when you say did all the right things, you're the critic who forever is here to tell us when there are expectations of winning at that position, you better win.
Right.
You're the guy who that's how you.
But I'm also the guy that says play through the pain, and he did so last year. I'd like to see what he's going to look like this year.
How you measure a quarterback, you're giving Baker Mayfield a credit that organization did not, which is that organization said, we don't care that you played hurt. We're going to get somebody better. Welcome to the really cold business of how hard those positions are to get. You become the commercials guy. How many football players have commercials? Baker's got a bunch.
Yeah.
Give me all the
he used to.
Give me all the football players that have commercials. He became a star.
Brian Arapko.
It's a Rakpo. It's a fine.
No, it's not.
It is. It's a fine.
I didn't find myself.
You still don't have any money, and I think I saw cash on you earlier.
I'm the only one with fining powers here, Dan.
How do you?
Though.
That's a fine.
Brian Arakpo is in a bunch of commercials.
He is. Thank you.
He is in.
Tomato.
He was in one commercial. The point being that Baker Mayfield rose to a level in stardom that is hugely competitive, trying to get to the top of in that league. We will sell you with your face.
Mm-hmm.
We prefer the rest of you guys be behind face masks. Everyone's interchangeable. Nobody notices too much when they're prayer circles and guys are dragged off. We'll get new bodies. Give me the dozen guys who sell the sport. Baker was one of them. Goes into a season of great expectations. We've laughed at the Browns for years, for decades. We've laughed at the Browns. They won 0 games and they won 1 game. Wasted Joe Thomas's career. We've been laughing in a parody sport. Awful. Laugh at them. They're the Lions. Worse than the Lions, probably the last 20 years somehow. Baker Mayfield, maybe the best quarterback they've ever had. Among them, doesn't say much. They haven't had very many. It's like Bernie Kosar and Vinny Testaverde and the old Miami guys.
That one season of Charlie Fry.
Brian
It
Sipe.
was a good year. Yeah. Sipe was a good quarterback.
Kelly Holcomb.
Yeah.
There haven't been many. Baker was one of them. He played injured for that sport, for that city, for that team. He played injured for those guys in that huddle. I will try my hardest, even though I've got a torn labrum. J.J. Watt spiked me, and oh my God, it's hard in this sport, in this division, to win. Everyone's winning by a field goal. My working body can't get me those extra 3 inches that make me go from last place in the division to first place in the division because our defense is good enough. And oh, look, we're a quarterback away. We're a quarterback away as a team. I'm that quarterback.
Right.
He crumbles under all of it. Musical chairs. Now he's hurt. He'll end up somewhere. They need quarterbacks, and he's better than the Sam Darnolds, or I don't know if he ends up.
He'd be a top 5 quarterback in the NFC right now. He would be.
I think that's
Dan, you forget how good he was 2 years ago.
Probably high.
I don't think it's high. I think 2 years ago, you forget how good he was when he was healthy. It was like 28 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He had a QBR that was better than Deshaun Watson.
I'm not. That was with Odell Beckham, and we saw. That's when Mike Ryan was. He's got the goods, dude.
Every Monday I walked in, I said, Mike, you have a quarterback. You have a quarterback. But he was unhealthy last year. And he's going to be healthy, I assume, this year. And the fact that he was run out of that town and the fact that he can't find a starting job in the NFL, to me, is absurd.
We need to get your top 5 NFC quarterbacks if Baker Mayfield's in the NFC, because we just did some basic math back here, and I'm not sure how that's possible.
He was
Would
hoping
top 6 have been
he
okay?
was hoping nobody would look it up. Is
Brady
what he
and
was
Rodgers
doing.
are in the NFC,
It was
like,
just
that's
one of
already
his
1 and 2.
top 5 lists.
Brady and Rodgers are on my list, for sure. You want my top 5 quarterbacks in the NFC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hold on. We got
But
to
Baker
do this.
Mayfield's
I got
in
to
the
find
NFC.
the list. Hold
We
on a
got
second.
okay. He's got to go rummage
Yes,
through
fine.
one of
Where
his
it is.
socks here to see if he can find top 5 quarterbacks in the NFC and whether or not Baker
This
Mayfield
is exciting.
would be
I'm
one of
excited.
them. Which part of this excites you?
I love a list. I love a top 5 list.
Matt Ryan's not on it because he's in the AFC now.
That's
Thank
right.
you. And Matty
Makes
Ice.
it easier for you.
The 15th best quarterback in the AFC, according to Stugotz.
Do you guys know,
It is top
because
15.
this position is so hard to fill, that even Sean Payton, like really giant swing and a miss on Taysom Hill, where he's like, maybe he could be a quarterback. Maybe I can make him a quarterback. And then it's like, never mind, tight end. We signed Andy Dalton.
And also, a lot of people jumped on that Jameis Winston hype train after he threw all those touchdowns. And
Well, he did get LASIK.
Well, it hasn't quite worked out for him in New Orleans.
What do you think he would do with the Dolphins, Jameis Winston, instead of Tua?
With this current team?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it'd be way more fun. They'd just throw way more interceptions. So he would just like it would be like a similar season to with Tampa. We saw what Tom Brady did with the Tampa wide receivers.
It's amazing.
Throw the same number of touchdowns, but 10% as many interceptions.
But I can't believe that really that it was this simple for how we overcomplicate this sport. How do you go from 7-9 till you win the whole thing? Well, if I give you Jameis Winston, he's going to give you 30 touchdowns and he's going to give you 5,000 yards because Mike Evans and holy shit, those receivers are all great. And now we're going to add Gronk. Okay. Jameis Winston is going to be somebody who produces a lot of offense, but also he's going to turn it over more than any quarterback in the league. If I just eliminate the turnovers, how much better does my team get? They go from 7-9 to Tom Brady's the greatest ever. Oh my God, how did he do it with another team?
And Antonio Brown and Leonard Fournette. I would take a guy that throws 2 more touchdowns and 20 more interceptions than someone that throws 2 less touchdowns and 20 less interceptions. I like it.
You want a gunslinger.
Oh,
you
yeah,
want
it's
Messi.
fun to
You want
watch.
Favre, yeah.
Yeah.
You want
you want
turnover.
Baker.
You missed the turnover. Billy the Duke misses the turnover.
Yeah.
All of these teams.
I hope we bring it back this year, honestly. I hope the turnover comes back. Turnovers are fun. That.
He hates that sound,
It's been
man.
so long.
I
since
know.
There was a Dookie Bomb.
I love that
Yesterday, I
sound.
figured out how to import sounds into our system. It's only been 15 months.
Thank goodness.
And so I went
been
through
so
our
long.
last 15 months of sounds.
so long. It's been so long.
And there it is. I have this one here.
White woman, white.
I used to have to like go searching through a system that has like 50,000 files to try and find that. Now it's just a button right there. It excites me.
Let's go through some of them because
Please.
I have missed this so much. I have been so starved.
I
for
want
this.
the top 5 sounds that excited you.
We got our library.
And I found my list,
We
by
were
the way.
so excited about getting our intellectual property. Nobody gets their intellectual property. We haven't been able to access it for 15 months.
It's not that. It's like when you buy. Have you ever seen the show American Pickers?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you know somewhere in there might be something worth something. And I think ESPN knew if we just give them everything, it's going to be impossible for them to find everything
it wasn't
that
impossible,
they want.
but it took 15 months, and now Whittingham finally has in his hands an assortment of sounds that we have been crawling to through a pandemic. I can't believe this is how you're revealing this. We can't reveal it this way. We got to go to Stugotz's top 5 list, and
Whoa.
now you assemble top 5 sounds you've discovered this morning while rummaging around in something that has huge value that we have not been able to access for 15 months. Let's do number 5 over here.
My list first?
Your list first, Stugotz. Top 5 NFC quarterbacks because you're alleging that Baker Mayfield is a top 5 NFC quarterback.
So you guys need to tell me after this, would Baker crack this list, okay?
So you're not, Baker's 5 on your list.
Well, I'm not
correct?
including Baker. He's not in the NFC yet. I'm just saying if he
No.
was in the
This
NFC,
is
he would
the
be a
list-
top 5. Oh, you want it with Baker?
If Baker were in,
I got to
NFC.
find that list.
Well,
Hold on a
it's a
second.
different list? Okay,
hold
that's
on.
a different
Just
list.
change one
All right, I
person.
found
no,
it.
it's not change a person.
found
It's
it.
the list. He's got to find the list. He's
No,
got
I
to
got
go
it.
through these
It was
cabinets.
right next to that list.
It was right next to all those sounds we haven't been able to access for 15 months. It's a big file. ESPN didn't want those either. The notes that Stugotz has written of top 5 lists over the years, they gave them all to us. They threw them at us on the way out
Get
the
outta
door. They're just big boxes of Stugotz's notes, his top 5 list.
Just leave.
So what is it? Number 5.
Baker Mayfield.
Yes, number 5. Number 4.
Matthew Stafford.
Number 3.
Kyler Murray.
Number 2.
Aaron Rodgers.
And the number 1 NFC quarterback is
Duh.
yes.
So no,
Jameis Winston.
no Kirk Cousins on your list? What? Tony's pissed.
6. Outside looking in, Tone.
Don't like it one bit.
All right, well put, Tony. Thank you for all your quick and just your ninja dexterity around the microphone.
I also left off Dak Prescott there. So I'm saying that Baker Mayfield is better than Dak. How about that?
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay, the list sort of falls apart.
No,
there.
it doesn't, Dan.
the same quarterback that NFL executives are saying you have to staple a pick to in order to get him off Cleveland is better than Dak Prescott.
Go back 2 years ago when he was healthy, and you tell me if he was better than Dak Prescott.
Stugotz, no.
Why can't you do that?
No, because Dak Prescott had. Come on, we
I
can't.
mean, I understand why you wouldn't want to do
We can't
that.
keep
but I mean-
underestimating. You're not looking at Dak Prescott the last couple of seasons. If you're saying Baker Mayfield is better than
How'd
him.
that last game end, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that last time we saw him, stock's plummeting a bit.
Yep.
because of that 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
It does. Of course. I mean, Dak wasn't that great this year, was he?
Baker Mayfield was the number 37 quarterback on Pro Football Focus this year.
Right, he was hurt.
Forget about the numbers. In the words
Dak
of
was
Chris,
9.
in the words of
Stugotz.
Chris Whittingham in Austin, don't worry about the numbers.
Stugotz, did you
Exactly.
not watch any Cowboy games this year?
No. Why would I?
Well, I mean, because Dak Prescott, he came back from injury, and I don't understand. I mean,
And they didn't make the playoffs, right?
okay, so he didn't win enough.
And he was healthy.
Where are the top 5? Well, he was coming back from injury.
He was healthy, though.
Okay, but that's truly terrible football analysis.
Well, that I think Baker Mayfield could be better than Dak Prescott? What are you doing with Dak Prescott? He's Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott has led one of the best offenses in the NFL the
Led
last
them
2
to
seasons.
where?
Being
They
a really
played
good
17
offense.
games just like everyone else.
But they're a really good offense that hosted a playoff game this year.
So you're still doing this just on how much do you win in the playoffs, Stugotz? That's the quarterback
I think
analysis?
you put Baker on the Dallas Cowboys. That team is making a deep run in the NFC. How about that?
Well, but we can't prove it. You're just
I know. That's why I said it.
saying it. Top 5 sounds that Chris Whittingham rummaged around in and found this morning, stepping in it like dog poop when you've woken in the morning, and the puppies got diarrhea. Number 5.
It is time for
Mike Sure.
to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boys.
Mike Sure.
Not worth it.
It's his list.
Hey,
It's
man.
only 5.
Number 4.
Oh.
I don't know what that is.
He has to hit that as part of a top 5.
No,
Right.
it's the helmet pull from the Grid of Death.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Mike
Oh.
used to have to pull it up every week. It was a whole thing. We had to find it. Now it's just there.
All right.
Number 3.
Sunday? Australia GP, Dan. It's going to be electric.
At 2 o'clock in the morning.
I
no,
think it
thank
starts
you.
at 1 a.m.
No.
on Saturday, technically.
When
So
does it end?
I don't know if I'm going to be awake for it. It'll probably end at 3 a.m. The races are only like 2 hours long. We won't know who the winner is until well into the morning.
You sounded kind of bored, kind of
Yeah.
indifferent
Yeah.
about
It was a preview. It wasn't a
But I
race
thought
review.
I thought your enthusiasm for this sport, because you have now become an F1 person. I saw that you
Thank
you helped you helped the Ringer start up an F1 podcast because you brought your expertise over there. You sounded totally bored by that F1 minute. You once met that with a great deal of enthusiasm. With
I didn't know what the sound was till I heard the sound. So Dan.
well, but I
I'm
thought it just came from your
improving.
heart. I didn't realize you had
Right.
to prepare anything.
I
thought
don't.
that
I mean,
You're faking it?
does come from my heart. Please. Also, I would like to clear the air right now. The other day when we were talking about Will Smith, I said when he laughed at the joke, he might have just been doing it as like a reaction without realizing what he was laughing at. And I said, sometimes I do that here. A few people tweeted at me and they're like, oh, we didn't know that your booming laugh in the background was fake. That's not what I meant at all. My laugh, when you hear me laughing, it is real. I'm just saying sometimes you kind of like chuckle along with things that make you uncomfortable.
That would be mine.
It's a real laugh, though.
Okay, well, it's important that you get that clarification
Thank
out
you.
there. I would have preferred it by press release because I think
like
the
I'm
people.
Greg Cody
I think the
putting
people
my
needed to know.
Stamp on things.
Very important that they know about the variances in your laugh and when you laugh. But I believe we did
It
not.
was weighing on her, Dan. I mean,
It was weighing on.
yeah.
It was like the whole thing when Mike Ryan said he didn't like the fans, and then the fans got mad, and then he had to clarify. It was a whole thing.
Okay, you shouldn't placate.
what do you have to clarify?
the
He said he didn't like
fans.
the fans.
You should just be yourself. and not-
Internally, this has been a big thing. Ed didn't send me an email about it. 3 o'clock, we're going to tweet out all of us saying this is a real laugh.
See, that
It's
was a
whole
real
thing.
laugh.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened
That was
with
fake.
Manfred at the press conference where he was doing the lockout stuff. I believe he was smiling and laughing nervously, and that it wasn't. He didn't mean to convey.
No, he's a maniac. That was a maniacal laugh. Yeah.
I feel like that was a real laugh.
Yeah. I saw a thing that they put second base in the wrong place for 135 years, and in the minor leagues they're just moving it to the right place.
What?
I'm gonna read more about it, but that
Okay.
was the
You
headline.
should,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, get back
well,
to us.
it's a Jason Stark piece in the Athletic. You have to get behind that paywall.
Forget
I'll
that.
read it for you.
Not doing it.
Support journalism.
Number
Pay
two.
the
Paying to
teachers.
read. I mean, come on.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
wow.
Excellent. Yes, I'm glad we have that. Just a sound
Those are not number one.
of the toy guns. Yes, the toy.
One
silly-
better be good.
Why were those there? Why did we have those in there?
That's Lorenzo's lasting legacy. He sent us those from the toy fair a couple of years ago, and they just lived in a box for years, and no one found them.
We were
And
bored
then-
during the NFC Championship
Yeah, we
game.
found them in the corner and started playing with them. Good sound. I mean, of all the bad judgment he had, this was good judgment. That's a good sound, and that's why he sent it.
He sent
so-
it because he thought it would be a good
thought it would be a
sound.
good sound for us to have, yeah.
To just have bouncing around here,
Yeah.
a random ball
What a nice man.
farted out of a
Miss him,
little
yeah.
red
Yeah,
toy.
exactly.
Oh, you miss him.
That was
Yeah.
a nice guy.
Yeah,
He was
good guy.
very nice.
Sweetheart. Really cares.
Too much sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, yes, way
He
too
cares
much.
until your ears fall off.
Yeah, until the side of your face melts from the hot breath of how much he's talking.
We should hire him to do something.
Talk.
Yeah, just not on air.
It should be a meditation
He
app.
does that for free.
It should just be a meditation app. Do you want to just go to a place where someone can badger your
White
head
noise,
with
yeah.
words until your
For 74 minutes.
until
a
your
74
mind
minute long
goes
meditation.
numb and you've stopped listening to anyone because he's battered your brain with a
Oh,
lot of words.
Tony has a great idea. Just whenever Genesis is in, bring him in to just be kind of talking in the background while it is that Genesis is massaging everyone.
Why would you do that to Genesis?
I do reach a point with him and did very quickly where what was pinballing around in my head just became a silent serenity. When he was
He
talking.
found a peaceful place.
It was close to God. I'm not going to lie. Just to
Can
protect-
Serenity pinball?
Well, no, this is what I'm saying is the noise would become such. It's pinballing all over my skull. It's bouncing. Just words, uninteresting words.
Well intentioned.
Yeah, totally.
words.
Wrapped in kindness, wrapped in love, wrapped in somebody who talks too much. That's all. It's not. I really do not mean. Lorenzo is a great fan of this show, and he's the one who kept us afloat at ESPN News, producing the whole show by himself. But he cared so much that when he would talk, what would rattle around in my brain would stop at some point while he was still talking. And I would just surf out to Hawaii mentally on just a really...
He's the calm app?
This is what I'm telling you. I reach a place of such ricocheting fury bouncing around in my head from an assortment of facts set at a high rate of speed with a great deal of caring that I would just numb out at some point, like what I imagine people who get addicted to opiates feel. Like morphine.
He was your drug.
Is that too mean?
I thought that was all nice. Yeah, buena gente. Yeah.
And finally, number one, according to Chris Whittingham, his favorite sound from our entire library that he discovered while stumbling around through the system this morning was...
Chris Whittingham is a fancy lad.
What a narcissist.
That's your favorite?
It delights me every time I hear it. We
God.
haven't. I gotta be honest. We haven't really heard it in a while. I don't know. I've done some pretty fancy laddie things. You know, the other day.
You haven't been fancy enough.
You know, the other day I was gathering people. I was gathering people around a huddle, and I said, "Come in, lads."
Oh,
and
that sucks.
you know, people wouldn't say that if we were talking about American football.
So you
but,
do it on purpose then?
Occasionally.
It is
Sometimes I'm just being me.
It's-
But honestly, like in that moment, I was like, "Yeah, gather around, lads." Like that's what I would say.
My question is for the group. Embrace debate. Is Whittingham saying penis on the Inter Miami broadcast fancy or not fancy? Because he used the proper terminology, but he also was using an inappropriate word. some
I'd
would
say fancy. I'd say fancy. Yeah.
I probably like if I was doing something that like I'd go like nether regions. or something like that.
Well, but being anatomically, scientifically correct is sort of proper. You are being
Right.
the
It's a good
reason you're
debate.
objecting to the repressions in sports broadcasting is because you're saying I'm not controversial by saying penis. I'm just more accurate. I'm more correct. I'm being more accurately descriptive than the next person who is saying junk.
I'm surprised he didn't say penis or something like that, just to like take it to another level.
I don't understand what you're like doing. What I did was more anatomically correct. As a matter of fact, I got sent a tweet that has gone viral of a female urologist who apparently started a chant in her office, penis, penis, because apparently one of the male urologists, a urologist, couldn't bring himself to say it, so he said wee wee. And so there is a movement that is sweeping across America of people.
I gotta
we
be-
need we
That's
need to get
French.
anatomically
I got to
correct.
be honest. A
Wait a
doctor who comes in and says wee wee, I respect you less as a doctor. I think you're less of a doctor if
Hold
you
on a
come in with
second.
wee wee.
So this urologist was at the office, wouldn't say penis,
Yep.
and then one of the other doctors in the office just started a penis chant.
No,
this
like
sounds something
berate,
Chris
like
Cody
berated
would do at the
like,
doctor's office.
berated him for not being able to say penis.
What doctor
Ready?
says wee wee? Hey,
All
we're
right.
gonna test you for STDs.
Here's-
I'm just gonna
here's
shove
the
this
tweet.
Q-tip up your wee wee.
This is from Ashley. This is from Ashley Winter.
Is that how that works?
The scrub tech referred to the penis as a wee wee. So I went on a long rant about normalizing accurate wording of genitalia, and the CRNA exclaimed, "Okay, everyone, say penis all together on 3." And suddenly, everyone in the OR was slow chanting penis.
This is like a gynecologist using the term for JJ, isn't it?
Right. 100%.
That's your soulmate, by the way, Whittingham.
Yes.
I'm surprised Witty didn't say bollocks or tallywhacker. Wanker.
Tallywhacker would have been perfect.
Trouser snake.
Tallywhacker.
Parsnip. Knob.
I said myself in like New Year's resolutions. Maybe I won't curse that much this year.
Oh, my grandma says that every year for Lent. I gave up cursing for Lent. You goddamn fool. I'm like, all right, grandma.
That's her go-to joke.
I mean, it's not even a joke. She just can't help herself. She's disgusting.
You shouldn't make goals with the passage of time. You should just decide to stop cursing.
But it's a
Oh,
Lent
shut
thing. It's a
up.
Lent thing.
Shut
40
up.
days. Give something up.
Yeah, I said that with fast
just
food,
wandered
and I
in the
haven't.
desert.
Yeah.
Did you give up anything, Billy?
No, I told myself fast food and soda, and I've done a very, very bad job. I haven't even been able to not do meat on Fridays.
Every time
honestly.
I call you, you're a Burger King.
I mean, it's just so convenient. What the fuck is this shit, by the way? Sorry, I know I was going to give up cursing.
What?
Wow, it's over.
Billy,
Where are Stephen A. and Mad Dog?
it's Wednesday.
Yeah, no offense, but Jay, Will, and Wendy are not who I want to be looking at right
Oh
now.
no!
What?
This is like not even one of them.
I was wondering why Stugotz during the break just morphed into Mad Dog's agent and said, and I couldn't figure out why he was doing it. He's like, if I were Mad Dog, I'd sit out a couple of Wednesdays just to show Stephen A. in First Take that my leverage has gone through the roof, that
Yep.
people come in and see me on Wednesdays because they don't want, who's on there today?
Jay, Will, Wendy, and Molly. Kudos to Molly for being a professional and being there when the A team is out. Like that's
What
incredible.
happened, though?
I would imagine if I were to guess, and I don't know,
The A team is Stephen A. I mean,
well, Stephen A's list,
right. Yeah.
and Mad Dog's A's list for some reason last
Will
week.
the
which is weird.
Lakers miss the play-in tournament is being discussed by Windhorse and Jay Williams.
It's not the same.
That is not First Take at all.
We're not going to hear about Jerry West. We're not going to hear
No.
about the silhouette. Like it's just not the same conversation.
Havlicek.
whatsoever. Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Not the same.
But why is this happening?
I would think that Stephen A was either off or called out, and then Mad Dog's like, no, I'm not going in for that.
Stephen
him
A.
and
is
J. Will?
not. I mean, we are a couple of days out here from Carolina Duke, a great Final Four. This is not a time for Stephen A. to take off.
Maybe he's on his way to New Orleans for
Maybe.
the Final Four.
Can I break
Maybe.
some news to you guys?
Oh,
I just looked up the ratings from First Take for last week.
don't give me negative news.
Ratings went down on Wednesday
Impossible.
What?
That's
and
wrong.
then went back
That's
up again
wrong.
on Thursday.
Get out of here.
That's impossible.
Get out of here.
Get out. Literally
That's
get
not-
out of
Liar.
there.
That's
Get
not-
out.
Leave.
That's right.
That's impossible.
It is.
450,000 viewers on Tuesday, 392,000 viewers on Wednesday, 443,000 viewers on Thursday.
No,
Down 50,000 viewers on both Tuesday
Yeah.
and Thursday.
That's right.
You're alleging that sports content that is not argument, debate, entertaining, and these are two giants butting heads. It's This is like watching, the old classic fights between giant heavyweights. You're telling
Ali
me
Frazier.
You're telling me that Mad Dog Russo has cost them 50,000 viewers a Wednesday?
Power
Not
outage,
buying
yeah,
it.
no,
Yeah,
yeah.
not buying it.
These are such small
Call
numbers.
FPL, yeah.
It's weird.
Such ridiculously small numbers.
And we live for them and we die by them.
50,000 people.
On the plus side, the previous week, Wednesday was up on Tuesday and Thursday.
None of this means anything. Power outage.
Yeah.
Has to have been. Yeah.
If you're going to bank, look, we've all seen what's happened at ESPN. First Take went from their most criticized show to their flagship, to their hood ornament on all this infomercial programming. And now, at the top of it, it's Stephen A. and Mad Dog Russo battling arguments across the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today.
Well, today it's Brian Windhorst and Jay Will.
Like, what are we doing? Where's Mad Dog and where's Stephen A? It's an endless source of Havlicek content.
Nary a yell so far. I don't know what's going on.
This could backfire on Mad Dog because what if the ratings go up from last Wednesday? Yeah.
Last Wednesday, by the way, First Take was the number 59 original show on cable television. Number 58 was an episode of Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh, the best. Also the worst.
Where are the remotes? Look, we're turning all of these off.
We have to
we're not
boycott
giving
it.
them. We're not
We have
giving
to
them a
boycott it.
single view. Change the channel.
We have to.
Turn it off. I don't know
You know
what we're
what?
doing.
You're right.
We're not going to make
You're
it
right.
seem like Mad Dog is the problem because it's
Bob,
not.
Bob, we need to protest here.
Bob, where's the clicker?
Bob, we need help here. Turn everything off in here. He's right. We're going to work in the dark the rest of the
Well,
way.
we can just change the channel.
No, we are boycotting. I think it's more dramatic if we just boycott.
Put the Pimple Show
If our
on.
show boycotts Disney,
Support the Pimple Popper. Oh, the lights are off. Bob.
let's boycott Disney here by just going dark and saying we will not abide this. We are
Yeah.
boycotting sports information
That's
that
right.
is
Now
not
it's
yelled
very
at,
dark.
that is not argued about, and is not yelled at us. We are not here for Jay Williams.
Put on Impractical Jokers right now.
This is unreasonable.
Oh, I found out some sad news this weekend when I was hanging out with Tony. Tony, tell everyone.
Yeah, it's very sad. Impractical Jokers, a mainstay on cable television. Unfortunately, I'm here to report that Joe Gatto has walked away from the show.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Joe
actually.
Gatto's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Isn't Joey Fatone on that show now?
Sometimes he's like the fifth Joker.
Right.
Yeah, but Gatto got
Replacement.
divorced. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's kind of
Stepping up.
co-parenting. Yeah.
I really felt like a real moron there, Tony.
You guys made Whittingham feel terrible, and I wasn't sure
He
if
did it to
Billy was
himself,
just
I
going
mean.
for the joke of saying, yeah, a former boy band member is indeed an
He's
impractical.
more of like a host. He's not really a Joker. He's
You
a
know,
host.
He's a fill-in.
He has a hot dog stand, and it's called Fat Ones.
Yeah.
Because his name is Fatone.
Well, but I told you before that one of the great
Thanks.
mistakes I made in pop culture was seeing his name come up on a screen, not knowing who he was, being told it was a boy band member, and I'm like, that's cruel because they had parenthetically Fat One. Because it was his first name, Joey, boy band member, and I didn't know it was Fatone, so I thought that was mean that they were doing that to him.
Probably Fatone as well.
Oh, shush.
What happened to Impractical Jokers? Are you saying they're breaking up because it got too big? They're like a rock band?
No. One of them was
One of them
going
had to
through
step
a
away.
divorce, so I had to step away.
Yeah.
To
He'll be
kinda-
back, though.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Also, Joey Fatone, the rabbit on Masked Singer. Fun fact.
How many episodes of Impractical Jokers have there been? Because it's
800,000.
all of True TV's programming from the morning, the moment you wake up to the morning you go to bed. That's all that's on True TV.
I mean, it's a great show.
So good.
I
It's a great
hope
show.
I
just
hope
on
that they
all
get
the time.
residuals as a result of this because
Oh, they
it really
definitely
is
do.
on all. It's like ridiculous.
I'm sure
on
they're
MTV.
loaded. They're probably like the richest people on TV.
Well, there's also like the world's dumbest whatever that like Daniel Baldwin is on and like a couple other like comedians and that shows.
Guy Fieri's probably, you're right. Guy Fieri, Tony says, is the richest person on TV. I am wearing a Guy Fieri shirt right now. Guy's Grocery Games was top 15 on the list. Witty just had up. Triple G's.
Really?
That's not even his premiere show. Triple D's is the premiere show.
Where was First Take again?
Number 59.
That's one of those things that like you go to the shooting range and then all of a sudden like there's a stray bullet and you're like, nah, don't worry about that one. And everything else is good. That's what that was last Wednesday. Just don't worry about that one. That's just a Wednesday power outage situation.
Number 53, The Murder Tapes on Investigation Discovery.
All right, let's do this.
A lot of
Whittingham.
murder
Just
tapes,
put
I mean.
everything that's better in front of
Top
it as part of
57?
our
It's all Fox News Day.
as part of our boycott of how just to point out, to go negative, to weaponize all this stuff and risk losing the library we just discovered this morning. Because we
It's still on the TV. Bob, do something.
we have
All you do is
violated.
turn off
Oh
the
wait,
lights.
Stephen Vacay Smith is tweeting in.
Vacay Smith.
Stephen Vacay Smith
What?
is tweeting in live right now to his own show. Okay, Real J Williams and Windhorse. Yes, I'm on vacation, but I'm watching you on First Take. I'm watching, especially you, Jay. You know what comes with sitting in that seat? By the way, to my brother Brad Turner, way to handle your business. Marley Kiram, nice outfit. A lot of emojis, a lot of exclamation points.
And just like that, First Take is back.
From vacation, coming to rescue us. Our boycott is over. It was
Also, he did the old school smiley face with the colon dash
Oh,
parenthesis.
that's the best smiley face. That's like the intimate smiley face where you actually mean it. Really? Not like the emoji smiley face, which is like, yeah, those are a dime a dozen. Lewis agrees. Instead of watching First Take, we should all watch an episode of Is It Cake?
Yes. Oh, Is It Cake is so good, Dan. Where do you think Stephen A. vacates?
vacays.
Fine.
Number 40, the NIT tournament
Come on. Come on.
on ESPN2 with 765,000 viewers. All gamblers.
What time is all of this stuff? Like, is this isn't things that are in the competing time slot? Is it? These are all the options in the time slot?
Fox News at night at midnight got 1.192 million viewers.
But how about the time slot?
The time slot, let me see if there's anything else that aired at 10 a.m.
No, but this is the thing, though, right? In morning programming, it's hard to get. One of the reasons that this has become their signature show is because, for whatever reason, from 10 to noon with a live program reacting to news, you can get a few more tens of thousands of people
Yes.
to watch something in the morning. So what are they competing against? Because I don't know if the people listening to this, First Take is considered a beast, a star-making monster that has made Stephen A., the big gun at the entire network, because that show, people watch that show in numbers that are pretty minuscule overall. But what is it compared to morning programming in its time slot?
Well, the only thing that I can gather here, because this list only gives me original shows. So, like, I don't know if reruns of NCIS on USA, which probably do drop, like, that wouldn't show up here. But the only other original show that starts at 10 a.m. that gets more viewers than First Take is America's Newsroom on the Fox News channel.
Charmed has to be really high on that.
Yeah,
the
good
day
shout.
after like
Good
playoff
shout.
games.
Oh my God. How much do you know of like The Closer as a result of the NBA playoffs? What was the other one? Franklin and Bash. Remember Franklin and Bash?
Franklin and Bash.
Franklin and
That was
Bash.
another one. That was another NBA
Had like a
playoff
one-season
memorial.
run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not imagine you had that as your top 5 underrated shows like 2 weeks ago.
I know.
He doesn't remember anything he's said before. Billy,
Thanks for the reminder.
can you tell me what's going on with Stupidity and Jay Billis and everything else where Stugotz is? I heard you guys talking and you were roaring with laughter because you said, do you realize how many minutes after you said to Jay Billis that I'm just going to keep you one more minute, that you actually kept Jay Billis doing your job for you?
So Stugotz has this thing that he does with guests, especially guests that need to kind of get out.
I
where
ask him
he's-
for stuff.
Yeah, no, not that. No, not that.
Something else.
This is just one of those things where he's like, "Oh, I'll get you out of here. I know you're in a rush. I'll get you out of here right after this. And then like he does this almost every interview that he does, right? And before the record was 6 minutes. So he said, I'll get you out of here right after this. And there was 6 minutes left on the interview. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, how did he manage to get 6 more minutes out of right after this? Because he asked him like 6 more questions. He'll also say like 2 more questions, and it'll usually be like 8 more questions. But it'll be like, I'll get you out of here right after this.
Just making sure you're listening. Bill.
Yeah, so the latest episode of Jay Billis, or of Stupidity with Jay Billis, came out today. And he told Jay Billis, I'll get you out of here right after this. I know it's a busy time for you, buddy. I'll get you out of here right after this. 22 minutes later, the interview ended. 22 minutes right after this, I'll get you out of here.
We had to play Jay or Nay.
That's true.
Billy, do you ever, because you sink into this and you reward it and you celebrate it, and it's the embroidery on all the stuff that you're producing for Stugotz, do you feel genuine shame?
Oh, absolutely. But I also realize I can't control him. So why not just embrace it? Jay or nay was a fun surprise. He also went to the Wingo joke well, which was incredible. That's when I texted him because I wasn't in for the recording yesterday. But he was doing that whole bit with Coach K's leaving. So he's like, oh, you don't want to be the guy after the guy. You want to be the guy after the guy after the guy. So he was doing that whole thing. And I'm like, I wonder if he's going to do the Wingo thing. Because he used to privately do the Wingo thing all the time. When Golick and Guarini split up from Mike and Mike, he's like, oh, buddy, trust me. I didn't want that gig. Yeah. Wingo can have it. You don't want to be the guy after the guy. You want to be the guy after the guy after the guy. I'll be good. When Wingo
Am I the
leaves,
guy after the guy after the guy, or
You know
Stugotz
what?
now?
Jessica,
it's Kellerman.
Jessica, do you not realize? I don't think Jessica realizes what she has stepped into between the Golicks and Stugotz. I don't believe that Jessica understands that the Golicks were Stugotz's ticket to a different ride.
Oh, they still are.
We had Clark Kellogg on this week.
Really?
Yeah,
Who's
ate some
that?
peeps. I did bring some peeps in for everyone. If you want to try any of the party cake or the hot tamale peeps.
What?
Hot
tamale?
Yeah,
Not
they're
dog.
actually good. They're
Not dog.
cinnamony.
That sounds disgusting.
Not a chance.
But
Stu-
in an
You're
effort
eating
to
it.
plug other Le Batard and Friends show podcasts this week, there was big news on this week's Basketball Illuminati Off the Looking Glass crossover episode.
Wow.
We had a crossover
crossover
episode, and before I get into that, I would like to
I know where this is
shame-
going. Here it is.
I would like
and we
to
deserve
shame
this.
all
No.
of you.
All right, hold on a second.
What'd I do?
No, well,
happened?
we deserve
Especially
this.
you, Roy. I'm kidding. Not
We,
What?
especially.
Roy.
we deserve this.
How dare you, Roy?
She's coming after everybody because we ignored great basketball.
No, that's not it. That's not it. That's
We didn't ignore it, though. We mentioned in the post-game
No,
show.
no. It's the Connecticut bias that Off the Looking Glass has been exploring. They've been a leader on this story. They have owned this corner for a while, and we're not talking about a controversy with the University of Connecticut where they've been gifted a home game they don't deserve. Do I have the controversy right?
Yes, you have parts of it right, but I'm not shaming you for not talking about it because Witty did bring up the game. However, where this show is complicit in the term UConn privilege, which Kate and I coined on Off the Looking Glass, kind of tongue-in-cheek, kind of not tongue-in-cheek, is that I was gone yesterday, Tuesday. Women's college basketball came up. It was a UConn game. Interesting that we only talk about women's college basketball when Jess is gone. We talk about UConn. And then the conversation turned into Gino Auriemma. Is he the biggest brand left in college basketball once Coach K retires? You know, that's all fine. However, what Kate and I have been saying on Off the Looking Glass is that Gino and UConn are the only entryway for people who don't really follow the sport to talk about women's college basketball. And this show did that
proved
yesterday.
your point.
You proved my point. And it was listening to the post-game show where this came up. Like, yes, we should absolutely cover the NC State UConn game. It was probably the most exciting tournament game between either tournaments. It was incredible double overtime game. Paige Beckers is incredible. UConn is making a run now. They're back in the Final Four. However, we didn't cover any of the other games. And we only talked about UConn and Gino Auriemma. And this is how we get in the trap of only talking about UConn over and over again.
This is the merging of podcast worlds where Off the Looking Glass has been covering all season this controversy, making news in a podcast on a Wednesday because ESPN would not credit Meadowlark Media's Off the Looking Glass for
podcast released on Wednesday.
creating a controversy in the women's game that came to life on our show yesterday because, Stugotz, you, who are accusing Jay Billis of faking it, are with me in faking it as if we've been covering college basketball all season and talking about how great a game this is between Duke and North Carolina. And we're doing it lazily through the coach at Duke. And while we're doing it, we're proving the point of what it is that Jessica is saying, which is the only way for us to be equal about talking about the women's game is going over to old Gino and having that as an access point to the entire women's game.
That's all I got.
The one man
Exactly.
that is over
It's all
there.
you got. And you're not alone, Stugotz. I've worked at other media companies before. You need a women's sports story to check a box. Who do we look to? UConn. They're dominant. They've been 14 in a row Final Fours. Like, They're unequivocally one of the biggest sports dynasties, and they deserve every ounce of coverage that they get. And this isn't a problem with UConn getting coverage.
But they were very defensive about you pointing any of this out. Gino Auriemma likes to believe in Gino Auriemma being king of that sport, of inventing it, of creating it, of dominating it, of beating Pat Summitt, of being the guy who made his monster the biggest monster.
Now, I do feel good about the fact that we covered the game because it was an incredible game, and I also take a lot of the points that UConn Anon, our side podcast, loves to put out there. However, Stugotz, I want you to prove right now that you are not a member of this UConn Anon bias. So, can you tell me, because you said you never forget it, the name of the Mississippi State basketball player that ended UConn's 111-game winning streak with a buzzer-beating shot in the final
He said
four?
he would never forget it at the time. He did.
I think he said he'd never forget the school.
No, he
which
also said he'd never forget
Mississippi State.
He also but there was another school that
Rebels.
I think that would go on to win the title that year. That you won't remember that either. I believe you thought that you would never forget that shot or
They're
that
the
moment
Bulldogs.
or what happened in that sport, and we don't think you remember any of the details that you were faking it, as you accused Jay Billis now of faking it on the NCAA tournament on Stupidity.
Her name.
While you think of her name, can anyone tell me the last time UConn won the national championship in women's basketball?
3 years ago.
It was during the Obama presidency.
Really?
It was 2016.
How about that?
But yet they still get all the coverage, and they deserve tons of coverage. I do not have a problem with UConn getting coverage. I have a problem with only UConn getting coverage because right now Dawn Staley is in a back-to-back Final Four. She has the best player in the country, Aaliyah Boston, on her team. And I think the story going into the Final Four is going to be, how did Gino do this when Paige Beckers was injured, when they had all these injuries on their team? I read an AP News story yesterday about how much adversity UConn's overcome. UConn got a home game as a 2 seed against NC State. That's the controversy that we talked about on Basketball Illuminati with Kate Fagan. Kate brought the goods. She has sources. She has info.
Reporting. There are sauces on Off the Looking Glass doing the only real reporting being done at Meadowlark Media to smoke out UConn's defensiveness and the UConn bias and show it to everybody. Gino doesn't like that though. Gino snaps back at everybody who says he didn't invent women's basketball.
We did. We caused a little bit of a shitstorm because we had Muffet McGraw in December, and Muffet said she agreed with us that there's like a little bit of a bias in covering UConn, and she took it a little bit of a step further and said that ESPN is UConn's network. And then a whole bunch of people tweeted us, and they were like, ESPN doesn't even air regular season UConn games anymore. They're on Fox.
Wait a minute,
Stugotz
sausage
is cheating
thing.
right
What
now.
are you talking
I see
about?
the Mississippi
We caught
State
you
basketball
cheating.
logo. I
What
see
do
it.
you mean?
I see it.
You were
What?
caught red-handed, red sausage-handed.
That's
It's
Mississippi, not
Burgundy.
Mississippi
No,
State.
it's a
That's Ole
Burgundy.
Miss.
I
What do you
see it.
mean?
You are trying to cheat. You don't know anything about anything, you liar.
I can't remember
You're
her
a
name.
fraud. Lie. You can't remember anything. South Carolina was involved with something there that
Yes,
season.
South
Gamecocks.
Carolina won the title that year.
Christ almighty.
You got nothing right from that game, Stugotz. You said you'd remember it forever because it was that's how you wanted to celebrate women's sport, because you had to.
Someone finally beat UConn. I was excited.
You felt obligated to. That is how, just through the prism of Gino Auriemma.
Her name is Morgan Williams.
That's right. How could I forget?
How could you forget?
My ask to the audience is not that you stop talking about UConn. It's just that we watch other games too. There was some really exciting games in this tournament. And this Friday night, the women's Final Four in Minnesota, Paige Becker's home, which is also going to be a big storyline, features 4 really good teams. Stanford having the chance to repeat, South Carolina having the chance to win another title with Dawn Staley, with the best player in the country, I believe, Aaliyah Boston.
And Gino being able to knock Off the Looking Glass out of the way because he wins again with this time an underdog.
Gino's not going to like any of this.
This,
I expect Gino to call me an idiot at some point this week.
well, this really should make Montgomery and Company very happy to crew on that show. Thank you, everybody.
This is interesting.
Everyone get a plug in?
Well, Renee's a homer though. Like Renee, you guys have to figure out. You guys were too respectful to her because she's a champion, but she's a homer. Like you guys were very kind to her. You respected her.
I like Renee. I'm not going to like gotcha Renee. And Renee has a point of view that I think is super important. She played for Gino, and everyone who plays for Gino, well, maybe not everyone, I think most women who play for Gino that end up with these successful WNBA careers, like they think they did it because they put in the work, and they did put in the work. They worked really hard to win all those Final Fours and win all those championships. And I don't want to take anything away from Renee Montgomery and all the hard work she's put in. And Gino as a coach. Gino's an incredible coach. He's won the shit because he's a good coach.
But he gets all the credit, though. He gets all of the credit. He gets defensive about protecting his brand because he believes he built
Coach
that
K
brand.
gets all the credit
He
as well.
did. He absolutely did. But we do not talk about other basketball teams in women's college basketball because we only focus on UConn because it's an easy place for people like us. Stugotz yesterday, Whittingham, everyone else who was here, Chris Cody, I don't think who even chimed in on that conversation because he probably didn't watch the NC State UConn game, to just be
fair
like,
what you're
Gino's
saying.
a brand.
Yeah.
And he is.
But
we watched the game. It was a great game and a great performance by Paige Beckers. I mean, that's why Chris brought it up. But your point is well taken. Like, you're right. We're wrong.
15 points in the overtime periods.
It is not the first time this week that we have discussed, because I don't think that we've had yet enough fun with all of the comedy around what happened at the Oscars. Another example, though, of men screwing up the night for the women. The idea that all of that would happen on a night meant for the embroidering on the evening to be a celebration of women and minorities, and that you would have two champions from Compton being celebrated by Hollywood for their achievements in sports, and that somehow all of it would get overshadowed by men being men. Like, just that all of it, that in the middle of everything that was happening,
the meniest way possible.
that you have,
That is so
that is so great. I mean, it is art. It is like,
I'm ashamed of myself.
This will be remembered forever. The idea that I believe they were sitting in a balcony, but that was a night to celebrate the improbable odds of two of the greatest athletes we've ever seen, not in women's sport, period, emerged from the same womb, emerged from Compton, conquered sports, and then conquered Hollywood. And resurrected, Will Smith's career as he finally wins his big prize on, through the pandemic, after George Floyd, after Oscars. We've been telling you for years, good God, that's white. All of that is white. Hey, how about some diversity on a celebration of that night that it would be about? I mean, Schumer nailed the joke. I can't do it as well as she did, but the idea of celebration of women, tonight we gather around to celebrate the champion's dad, Richard Williams, and then the man representing Richard Williams in the most man way possible, instead of celebrating the champions and their grace, their regal grace in the face of everything that they endured, racism and beyond, right? Like, God almighty, what those women and that family had to endure to get to that moment. And it gets screwed up by the actor. It gets screwed up by Will Smith being most man. I'm going to go up here and punch 65-pound Chris Rock, or I'm going to slap him with an open hand. And we're going to ruin the whole night. And it's going to be the only thing people remember.
My sister, who lives in another continent, like halfway around the world, texted me and said people in her town, she did see it before us 6 hours ahead. She was like, people in our town are talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock. Like, it's an international incident. By the way, when am I going to be able to finally eat this peep?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's all right. Go ahead and do it now. Punctuate here. This is a hot, spicy peep that you're saying is
I don't
cinnamony.
think it's bad. It tastes like hot tamale.
It'll take a minute.
You think it's spicy?
Tamale
A
Pete.
minute
It's
for
just
what?
like
Hot
weird.
tamale. It's like the gum.
You'll see.
Who got high and came up with this idea?
Dude, my grandma loves this gum, this hot cinnamon gum. She used to just walk around and dish it out.
Big Red?
She was swearing, take a fucking piece of gum. All right, grandma, I got it.
What's the matter with your grandma?
What isn't?
Why do you? Okay, tell me more now, because you brought her up
We gotta
twice.
dig deeper.
You've done twiys now. Grandma Smetana has made an appearance on the show.
Is this the one you were happy that died so you couldn't show her how to use Peacock?
No, that was my Grammy. My Grammy was a great lady, but yeah, she would have struggled with that. So would have my pap. Rest in peace to my pap. Weirdly enough, when my pap died, I tweeted like a really nice collage of like pictures of my pap. And I thought about this the other day because Stugotz mentioned Rick Sutcliffe. And I was thinking, when I tweeted that collage of my pap's pictures, for some reason, Rick Sutcliffe retweeted it.
What a nice guy.
You just love name dropping. Like, just if anyone
Why
in
did he
celebrity,
retweet it, Dan?
it's just the strangest thing. I got close to the whiff of the beard of Rick Sutcliffe on social media. I'm so delighted.
big day for
let
her.
me,
I just
let
thought
me,
it was
let
a
me
huge
tell
day.
God, what a
everybody.
son young.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let
It
me-
wasn't a name drop. I thought it was
No,
odd at the time.
It is a name drop. Like
No.
the only part of that
It's such a
story that's
bad
interesting is
one.
that Rick Sutcliffe retweeted
Sut.
the picture.
No, the memorial to Pap.
Huh.
What about the grumpy grandma? We got away from her.
I two things. Pap, you referred. Forgive me. I don't know how many abuelo nicknames or an abuela nicknames
Just
that
Pap and Grammy.
you have, but
Pap
I
is a
want
Pittsburgh thing.
I want to get to the foul-mouthed grandmother because you've been saying
Who's
that
handing out Big Red?
she's the one. But before we do that, I want to understand. You said, Stugotz, the peep. The hot tamale peep, were you expecting it to be spicy, like hot, burn your mouth? Because you pretended like you knew what that would taste like.
It kicks in, Dan. I'm telling you.
Okay, you were faking that. Okay, so you've never had.
Give it an hour. You'll
Okay,
see.
where are you, Jessica, with
On the
this?
back end,
Where-
Dano.
Yes, on the back end. Okay. What is the hot tamale flavor then? Is it all sweet? You're saying it's not bad at all. It
It's
seems
just,
like
yeah, it's just sweet cinnamon. It really there's nothing like hot or spicy about it, which is disappointing. It should be like mild tamale, I think.
Stugotz is near 50 years old. Stugotz is now delighted with himself because he's just thinking, I've derailed the show with red hot shit fire coming out of someone's ass because they've eaten a peep. He's an adult male who has raised children
whistle.
who are going to Northwestern, and he is just giggling with jiggly gut delight, red-faced,
Grammy's hot
because
whistle.
he's just made you imagine someone shitting fire because they ate a peep. Thank you, Stugotz, for being the joy.
There's no way my grandma would be able to digest this.